Data set and distribution, comparing data display. Sal counted the number of songs on each album in his collection. He then created both a dot plot and a box plot to display the same data. Both diagrams are shown below. Which display makes it clear that none of the albums had 15 songs? So right here, looking at both the graphs here, you have the dot plot, which represents each one of his albums. Actually, the dot plots here, and this right here would be the box plot. So the box plot will tell you basically, what the lowest number is, what the highest number is, what number of songs he had exactly in the middle, what was the top quartile, and what was the first quartile. So we had the first quartile and the third quartile. This right here, the dot plot, gives you the number of songs that are found in each of the albums, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up through 16. We can look at this much clearer and see that there's no number above the 15. So that would be the dot plot. Now, right here, which display makes it easier to find the inner quartile range? So anytime they mention anything with the word quartile, then right there, that's an indication to go ahead and use the box plot, because we have our first quartile, we have our second quartile, we have our third quartile. Now remember, when it's talking about the inner quartile range, that means you're taking quartile 3 and you're subtracting it from quartile 1. But again, for us to get the quartile, it's going to be the box plot for that. Regina is a realtor and studies house prices. She recorded the area of each house on Prince Street. She then created two histograms to display the data. Histogram A shows the data using a bin width of 50. Histogram B shows the same data using a bin width of 100. Both diagrams are shown below. Which histogram could be used to find how many houses had greater areas than 200? So we want to find greater areas than 200. So we can use the top one, which is broken down into 50s. We can use the chart here that's broken down into 100. So you're counting by 100 here. So one counts by 50, one counts by 100. So which histogram could be used to find how many houses had greater area than 200? So really, we could see right here at 200 on, right here we could see everything from 200 on. Now, for more detailed purposes, you can see more broken down in here between 200 and 300, where this is not so much broken down. So this actually does have more detail going from 200 to 300. So which histogram can be used to find how many houses had a greater than 200 square meters? So again, we could use this one, anything above the 200. We could actually use this one, anything above the 200. So really, actually, we could use both of these if we wanted to. So I believe both would be the answer. Okay, Regina is a realtor and studies house prices. She recorded the area of each house on Prince Street. She then created histograms. A shows the data bin of 50 and B shows it for 100. Which histogram can be used to find how many houses had an area less than 150? So now we want to go less than 150. See, 150 is clearly shown on the top graph. 150 is not shown on the second graph, so we really don't know where it starts because it only goes from 100 to 200. So I would go with the first one because there's clearly 150 marked here where 150 is not marked there. So I would say histogram A. Leonard measured the mass of each pumpkin in his patch to the nearest tenth of a kilogram. He then created both a histogram and a box plot to display the same number or actually display the same data. Both diagrams are shown below. Which display can be used to find how many pumpkins had a mass below 6 kilograms? So 6 kilograms is right here, and we can clearly see that there's 5 and there's 4. If we look here, 6 kilograms here, we're not seeing a lot of detail with that. So when we're talking more detail, definitely this gives me the detail, because I can see starting at 5.9, this is clearly 5 and this is clearly 4. I don't see that using the box plot. So the first one here would be A. Now the second one, which display can be used to find the median mass of 8 kilograms? Now there again, you got the word median. If they're talking about quartiles, if they're talking about medians, then you're talking about a box plot, because this is where you start, this is where you end. These are called your whiskers, where you start and where you end. This is your median, your middle, or your quartile 2. This is your quartile 1, and this is your quartile 3. So the median is right here. The median is clearly 8, so I can see right away that it's going to be 8. So this right here, the answer to this part here would be box plot.